I welcome you guys back into my course 205 today. I realize it's how to sell. I realize that you guys will see me for the next hour over here. Although you understand when you're selling yourself, you understand that I realize that in order to sell yourself and how to sell, you understand that it's sell yourself freely. You have to understand you sell for free. Sell something for free today. What can you sell for free today? You sell your voice, you sell your face, you sell your skills, you sell your talents, you sell your wisdom and what you have in terms of courage. And you go and make sure you do some street performance and you learn to sell for better. You learn to sell for the better. You're selling something of interest. You're selling something that's going to help grow someone for free. Understand? Because when you're selling something, you have to sell for free. And that way you understand the art of selling. You understand that a salesperson is somebody who never calls you to go and make yourself get a lottery. I realize they're never calling you, unless they're calling you to make sure that you get a lottery ticket or something like that. I never promote that. I never promote that kind of selling. You understand? I promote something of interest. I promote you in terms of ways that you can grow. I need you to grow so that I sell you for free. You understand? I sell you something and I give you an irresistible offer where you understand that to sell something, you do it freely, and you understand that is the only way to live life. You sell for free, you do something for free. You understand that when you're encouraging people, you're doing it for free. I promise you that when you're speaking in life, you're doing it for free, and you're selling something. You're every single day selling an image. You're selling your clothes and how you look like today. You're selling the way you look with your hair today. You're doing something today to say that this is who I am. In a sense, so you're selling something for free today. In a sense, so to sell something is to sell it better. And you have to look better, so you have to fashion model better. You have to take more photos of yourself. You have to realize that it's never about entertaining, although you understand that when you're entertaining, you're selling entertaining for free. You're doing something for free today to make sure that you can sell. I realize that selling is never to grab $90 off you so I can get richer. I realize that's a scam. I realize that's a scam. I realize that I will say, I need you to go and read my 90 courses of hours, and that way you understand you'll never be scammed for that because it's for free. You understand? I promise you that's different. I promise you that is something where you understand that you can say, I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. You understand? So be that kind of person who you can entertain a crowd, although you're getting honest about it and you're also serious to grow. You understand? So be a more serious person when you're growing, and also when you're entertaining, you just have fun then. You understand? So when you're having fun, you can entertain. Although you have to understand that entertainment has to stop. You have to understand that what's important is the growth. You have to understand that when you're growing and you're writing a book, you go and post it for free because that's how to sell. You understand? You're going to post yourself somewhere for free. I posted myself here on the street for free. You understand? I am here for free. I'm doing something for free every single day. You understand? It's really about how are your emotions today and how are you going to sell your emotions today for free. You understand? So to sell something is to sell it for free, and when you're doing it each and every single day, you'll learn something about freedom. You have to understand that there's nothing else to sell for money. You're never doing it for money because if I sell you this for $2, you become a $2 person. You understand? So never do that. I never need you to go and sell possessions. You understand? You be a person who's never selling possessions, because if you're a person who's stuck on money, you understand you're selling for money. You never be stuck on money, because that way you understand what freedom is. Because there are two types of, I realize there's only one type of freedom. Although there are people who believe that there is freedom with money and also freedom with freedom. You have to understand there's only freedom with freedom, and with freedom comes the money. You have to understand you never go sell items and possessions and food for money. You understand? Because you're never working for money. You're working for freedom. You're a charity person. You understand? Because when you're a charity person, you're also going to live longer. When you're living longer, you're selling that for free. You understand? You're walking for free. You're selling how you walk. You're selling how you talk. You're selling how you look like. You're selling your Instagram and how it looks like. You're selling something of an attitude every day for free. Why aren't you charging them about your money? You understand? Because guess what? You never charge about money. You understand? You never charge about money. You never ask questions that relate to money. You understand? Because what you ask is something that's much greater. You ask, how do I better myself today? And you understand that all the money and all the questions of the money is in how you're bettering yourself today. You have to understand that when you're asking questions, you ask better questions, although you understand that each and every question you ask must relate to something. I never need you to block any questions, although you just ask freely every single question. That's never going to be a stupid one. You understand? So be a person who understands better questions, and you understand better statements and better vocabulary, and also better ways of dealing with life. You understand that when you're selling something, you're selling freely and you're selling your attitude. And I promise you, as Dr. Wayne Dyer says, that is all you're selling in life. You're just selling your performance and who you are and your name. You're branding your name. you promise no matter what that today you're going to do something freely. I promise you you're going to give something for free, and I promise you that way you're going to learn how to sell much greater. You have to understand that when people are going knocking on doors and saying, would you like to buy a ticket? I promise you that will be a no all the time. Understand? Because guess what? You never get sold on buying anything in life. You go and knock on the door and say, I'd like to give you 300 free courses for free. I promise you that's something to sell for free. Understand? You go and knock on doors and you give 300 hours of what you've done in terms of better than yesterday, and that way you understand you're selling yourself better than yesterday, and that way you're selling your name for free. Understand? I'm selling myself for free today. I'm learning how to sell each and every day for free. Understand? So when you're knocking on doors, you're a person you're saying, I'll give you 300 courses of hours where I've taught people on how to grow. I'll give it for free. You understand? And you just have to go and do this link. You understand? So you have to realize that there is a better way than knocking on doors today. You have to realize that you can go and put a nice beautiful poster, and when people see your poster, I promise you knocked on their door today. You understand? Because when they see your name on the poster, I promise you they also realize that you knocked on their door today. You understand? So knock on people's doors in a better way where people are. And you should realize that when you go online, for example, you go on YouTube today, and 400,000 people seeing your video, you knocked on 400,000 people's doors today. And guess what? Because you did that, I promise you maybe 1% of them shared you around in terms of newcomers are coming into your videos or into your Instagrams, and that way you understand that the more you promote yourself on the street, I promise you the more people are going to recognize you over time. Understand? Because once they see your Instagram and also how amazing you are, because you understand that when you have an amazing Instagram, you also have an amazing expression. And to be an amazing expression is to learn how to sell. Understand? So anything that you learn that's going to grow you is how you sell. Understand? You sell yourself in a way that's going to realize yourself, and you understand that you go and realize yourself much better than yesterday, and that way you understand that you slow down, and you also realize that you speed up when you have to learn quicker. You have to learn quicker and quicker throughout time. You have to realize that those people who understand the logic of being in the moment are going to realize their emotions, and they're going to live in the body rather than their minds, because their minds will make them psychotic. You have to understand it's really about the emotions, and the emotions will never ever scam you. You have to understand that it's really that you never scam your emotions. You're never putting anything of rubbish in there, because that way you'll learn much better. You understand? You'll learn how to sell in life when you're a better person. You'll learn something much greater. You'll learn that the topic is how to sell, and then you understand that you can go and learn how to sell anything. You'll learn how to sell your words. You'll learn how to sell everything in terms of life, in terms of wisdom, and in terms of who you are. You understand that who you are must be better, and that way you understand that each and every time you uplift people, you're learning how to sell. I mean, what are you learning? You're learning how to sell yourself in terms of uplifting people. You understand? I promise you when you're learning how to love, you also give the love. I promise you when you're learning about everything, you're never deluding anything or anybody. Or else to dilute anything is to kick them down. You're never diluting, you're only never polluting either. You have to understand, you just grow. You're growing with the tide. You understand? You grow with the tide. You're never against the tide. You're something much greater than the tide itself. You understand? You're just doing something much greater. You're never a person who's a natural disaster in life. You're something much better than that. You have to understand that when you're a person who's growing, you're really looking for any type of inspiration to give yourself to sell much better. You're selling your voice. You're selling something of nature. You're selling and you're keeping the story going. You're keeping it flowing. You're keeping your head up. You understand? You're looking up. You're looking up, and you're making sure no matter what, you're honest and you're serious, and you're making sure that the fun and games is over. I mean, have no fun and games in your life. You understand? Because you never need that in your life. I promise you, what you need is something greater than fun and games. You need to grow today. You need to realize that you need to get into business. I realize that I never have fun and games in my life. You have to realize that when I have fun and games, I realize it's a waste of time. I realize that it's really, really an old-fashioned statement. You understand? I promise you, entertainment is an old-fashioned statement today. I never need you to entertain. I need you to grow. I need you to be serious about growth. I need you to realize that growth is key. I need you to realize that those people who are serious to grow always have a business. I promise you they always have money. I promise you they always have everything they ever need, because that's how they learn how to sell. You understand? I promise you they learn how to sell because they're always serious about their work and what they're doing, and they're always passionate about being a better person. Because when you're selling yourself in a better way, you realize how to sell yourself in a better way. You understand? So be that kind of person who understands. You go and realize something really true in yourself. You understand that you have to look better, you have to feel better, you have to understand that to be an elegant person and a classic person is to live in the moment, and you're never stuck on old thinking and old people. You understand? You have to be with the new people. You have to be with the people who are looking younger and younger throughout time. because there's no such thing as looking old in life. You understand? There's no such thing as old people. I promise you, if you believe that, you'll be old. I never believe in oldness. I never believe in aging old. I never believe in doing hard work. I never believe in being old. I'm never old. I'm always younger over time. I'm always younger. I'm always doing something over time that's much better than yesterday. Understand? So in order for me to learn how to sell, I have to realize I have to plan more. I have to realize I have to have a better schedule. I have to have a better mindset. I have to grow more. I have to have more wisdom. I have to be around mentors. I have to be communicating better. I have to be doing better, because that way I'll learn how to sell better. Understand? So anything I do today is to even do some video work today and give some ideas and provide some ideas and do something. Would you love to ask a question? Realize no matter what, I'm always doing something that's really foundational. Realize no matter what, I'm always a person that's really growing. I'm growing in a way that no matter what, I never cause violence, I never have to. I realize that I'm never scared either. You'll understand that I'm always a person that needs to grow. I realize that you need to grow in a way that is really foundational. You need to grow in a way that's going to help you. You need to realize that you give people attention and you never rush anywhere. You understand? So when you're a person who has anything to say, you're going to do it much better than yesterday, and that way you're going to communicate in a better way each and every single time. Because each and every single time, you must be a better person for it. Understand? So be a person who understands that in between my little session of drinking my soy milk, I learned some qualities where I learned how to sell much better. And what did I learn? I learned that since my music is playing, I played my video, which is one skill. I played my video while my music is playing. I then make sure that I connected my microphone. And then while my music is playing, and I'm video recording myself, you realize that I started speaking while my music is playing and while I'm recording myself. I realized that's a skill. You then realize, what did I do? I realized that I started to entertain the crowd. I realized I started to say anything. I realized that when you're having anything in mind, you understand that you're going your emotions, because it's your emotions that really matter. You then say, how are you guys today? You have to realize that's an entertaining question. You have to understand that it's never really growing anything. You have to understand that you can say anything in terms of entertainment. You understand? Because those people who entertain are the ones who can sell entertainment. You understand? So that's the easiest thing in the world. I realize I'm a smart ass. I love to smart ass everything in life. I'm just that type of person. I realize I always go this way, I go that way. I'm always going this way to make sure that this person never falls. I realize no matter what, that's entertainment. You have to understand that when you're just never teaching anything, I promise you that's entertainment. I promise you that's the comfort zone. You know, I know nothing and I never say you know. You understand? Because I know nothing. You have to understand, you never say you know in your content. You have to understand that when you're entertaining the crowd, you're speaking anything. I mean, you're speaking anything that never grows. You understand? I promise you it's that easy to entertain the crowd. Although you understand that in between my session of drinking, I can have a few words here and there to make sure I can entertain the crowd, because they love the comfort zone. In a sense, so realize it's not about the comfort zone, and to realize it's about growth. I realize that growth theory means action right now. You have to understand that it's about action, action, action. And how much action today are you taking to succeed? In a sense, because when you're taking something, you're really doing it. In a sense, so you're never taking you're never a thief or anything. You have to realize that taking means a doing word. You have to understand that anything with ing is a doing word, and that's a verb. You have to understand to ing something in life, you understand taking. And taking will mean, or realize that taking means that you're going to go and do something. In a sense, so go be doing something all the time, because a doing word will always get you there. You have to understand that it's about really believing yourself all the time to make sure that you can go and grow yourself all the time so you can sell yourself better. You have to understand that to sell yourself is to learn how to sell. And while you're learning how to sell, you're learning how to sell everything. I mean, you're learning how to sell people and everything in terms of life, in kindness and gestures, and also positivity, learning in a better way to entertain a crowd, and you're giving skills. I mean, anything you learn in a day, you must put it into video. I realize that each and every day I do 3 hours of video content. I promise you it's a blessing, because I promise you everything I learn in my day, I get to give it in video all the time. I'm always learning something. I'm always learning. That's the foundation of living, you understand? So I know nothing. I'm a person who never says you know in my words, you understand? Because when I say you know, I know nothing. You know nothing, because I know nothing. And to know nothing is to grow. You have to understand that when you understand that life is to be lived now, you understand how to sell. You have to sell everything. You have to sell everything. You have to sell yourself. You have to sell your heart. You have to sell people. You have to sell everything in terms of freedom only. You never sell them for money. You have to understand that you never get $100,000 and say, I'll give it to this man and you can have my wife. You understand? I mean, that's never the way to go. You have to understand that you go and sell freely, and you sell your attitude, and you sell it with the highest intent, and you give yourself the benefit of the doubt to make sure that you're always growing. You have to understand that you never make excuses though. You have to understand you just make sure that you're always rising above. You understand? So you're making sure you're a peak performer. You're making sure that you're doing something today that's really going to help you to move forward. You have to understand to entertain is really easy. I promise you, it's really, there's no growth there. I realize there's no growth in entertainment. I realize it's just yaka yaka. I realize it's mumbling. I realize it's really slang words. I realize it's stupidity that's entertainment. Because entertainment and watching it makes you nothing. You understand? Because what grows you will ultimately lift you. You have to understand, you go where the lifting is. And where the lifting is honesty and integrity. I promise you, there's no honesty and integrity in entertainment. I promise you, it's full of lies. I promise you, I never need you there. I need you to realize that you go and do something greater. I need you to understand that entertainment is fun, and you stay away from fun. I never need you to have fun. I never need you to be at the Net Cafe playing games until 3 o'clock in the morning. I never need you to have a PS2 and a PS3 and a PS4 and a PS5. I never need you to have an Xbox. I never need you to have FIFA games in your life, because that's never going to help you. I need you to realize it's never about sports in life. I need you to realize that the sport of life is to grow your communication skills, and go and do that all your life. I promise you, you'll be rich. I promise you, you'll be a rich businessman or woman. You'll be a rich person. I thank you very much. I realize no matter what, I'm always that type of person who's doing something really foundational. I'm doing something that's really going to help me move forward. I realize that's how to sell. I realize that when you're selling something, you're selling freedom. You're selling something in terms of for free. You're doing something for free, and you're making sure that you make people angrier in terms of life when you're more successful. You understand? I realize when you're more successful, I promise you, they get angrier. I don't care about them. You understand? Because I'm more successful. I never slow down for you. You understand? I never slow down for anybody. You understand? When you're walking slow and you're doing something slow, you have to do it much better than before. You have to realize you have to be a better person. You have to realize that you have to sell yourself in a better way. You understand? You have to always do something better. You have to realize it's really about lifting yourself. You never be depressed. You never be a person who's going slow in life. You go and learn fast. You learn quick. You understand? You've never been a slow learner in life. You go and learn quickly. You go and speed read. You go and speed walk. You go and speed run. You understand? You have to be speed in life. You have to understand. You need more of that need for speed. You understand? You need for speed more and more, because it's never really about legal matters. Although there's a game that's called Need for Speed. You understand that you never go and speed your car or anything like that. You never speed and compete against other people, although you're speeding to race against yourself in a way that you're growing. You understand? You're never against yourself, you're just racing with yourself. You're racing with time to make sure that you're a better person throughout time. You understand? Because that's what it's about. What it's about is making sure that you learn how to sell each and every aspect of your life. And you're selling your body parts, you're selling what's on your leg, you're selling the shoes, you're selling everything in terms of how you look. You're selling your name, you're selling your persona, you're selling your business mindset, you're selling what you can communicate out into the world. You're selling your courses for free. You're selling everything. You're doing charity work here for free. You're doing something on the street for free. You understand? Because what's free is charity, and charity is the best way to get richer. You understand? So you're always working for free all the time. I realize that Robert Kiyosaki says you go do something for free all your life, I promise you, you'll be a better person for it. So realize that you go understand you never work for a paycheck. I never work for a paycheck. I realize I do this for free all my life. You understand? Because I'm always someone in life. I'm always a somebody. I realize that you have to go and do something that other people will never do. I realize that nobody's going to teach you how to communicate. I realize that nobody's going to teach you anything. You have to go and teach yourself. Understand? So be that kind of person who understands that you're going to be faster and faster and faster throughout time. You understand that you use your emotions in front of people. So today, especially after my 3 hours, I realize that I'm never doing anything after. I'm never an aftermath. I realize I'm now always. And I realize that everything I've ever done is in this moment. You have to realize you have to understand to grow. You have to understand that every single book is going to teach you how to grow. And the more you can learn how to grow, the faster you'll understand all the books you read. You have to understand that each and every book will teach you specifically how to grow. And what I've learned today is a massive amount of information where you can just go and read it all together right now. I realize that it's going to help you so much because it gives so much ideas. You understand? Because that's a business. You have to have a business that's running on ideas. And when you bring ideas to the table, I promise you can always collaborate for free. I mean, when people need to collaborate with you and they're asking for money, I promise you never do it. You never collaborate with them for money. You never do it for money. You never give money so they have to promote you or something like that. You go and promote yourself for free. I'm saying you go and get what you need, and then you go do a street performance for free. And I promise you, it's the best marketing tool in the planet right now. I realize I get tens and thousands of views every single day because I promote myself for free today. And so be that type of person who understands that you understand. You just always improving yourself in your communication and your skills, and you're making sure that you're always a better person for it. You're always making sure that you're doing something incredible. You're doing something that's really going to work. You're doing something that's really passionate. Or else that what's passionate must be you. You must be passionate about your face. You must be passionate about your looks. You must be passionate about how you look today. And if you're not passionate about how you look today, I promise you need to improve. You need to improve your life. You need to improve who you are every single day in order to be more passionate about yourself, because your passion is your brand, and your brand must look better and better and better throughout time. So be that kind of person who's standing up for something greater. And your only company and your only business in life and your only 9-to-5 job is you. You must make yourself your 9-to-5 job. You must make yourself your 27/4. You must make yourself your 24/7 job. So realize that you must be your own brand. You must brand yourself. When you look at my Instagram, I promise you, when you look at my Instagram, you'll find branding photo shoots of myself, because I'm just one name. I promise you, there's only one name, that's Danny Milivojevic in the planet. I promise you, nobody else is Danny Milivojevic. So when you're naming your kids, you go and name them something that nobody else has named them. I promise you that when you look at Nguyen and there's Andrew Nguyen, I promise you there's 50 million Andrew Nguyen's in life. I never need you to name your kid. I never need you to name your kid Andrew Nguyen. I promise you, when you go on Facebook and you search Andrew Nguyen, I promise you there's 50 million of them. I never need you to be 50 million of the crowd. I need you to understand. You go change your name then. You go change your name. I never need you to be 50 million Andrew Nguyen's in life. I need you to understand. You go do something amazing to be some person who's totally new. You can change your name too. You don't have to be Danny. Or else that when you're a person who has a name, you can change your name yourself. You say, I'm a new name now. You understand? You can change your name. You can christen yourself. You can say, I'm not religious anymore. I'm not Orthodox anymore. I'm not Christian anymore. I'm something better than that. You understand? You go and do whatever you need to do in life. Just make sure that you're growing. You're making sure that you're growing. Because you have to understand that if Nick Vujicic can do it, you can do it. You have to understand that Nick Vujicic is a person who has no limbs and no legs. I realize that you can go and public speak just like him in a better way. I realize that you must be making sure all the time to make sure that you're communicating in a better way all the time, and a newer fashion statement is always recommended. So make sure you're never repeating the same information always. You have to understand that you go and repeat the newest material on the planet, which is knowledge. You have to understand the only material that you ever need in life is information. I promise you, everything else is bullshit. You understand? I promise you that information is everything, and when a person has more information, you understand how to sell better. You understand? So be a person who learns more and more about life. You understand? Because that way you understand that when you get boring, I promise you, when you get boring, I promise you got nothing to say anymore. I promise you need to be more excited about what you're saying. You need to spark up the interest of the crowd, and the way you do that is to keep your conversation going. You have to understand you're always having a conversation with people, and when you're having a conversation with people, you're teaching them how to grow. You're teaching them something about your life and about your experience and about how to grow and how to do everything in terms of your life. You have to understand when you go about in a better way, you understand a better way that is lived now. You have to understand that those people who live now are the ones who are going about it in a better way. You have to understand that a better way will get you there. You have to understand there's always a better way than how you look today. I promise you there's always a better way than what you're doing today. You understand? So be an open mind. I need you to be open-minded. I need you to realize that curiosity is key, and those people who are curious are the ones who are going to far extinguish themselves above the crowd. You understand? So you be above the crowd. You understand? You be above the crowd in terms of yourself. You have to understand that you must be something more than the crowd. You understand? You must be above the crowd. You must be the person that the crowd are watching. You understand? Because that's success. You must be on the pitch scoring goals while the stadium around you is the crowd watching you. You understand? You be the one on the pitch scoring goals. And that way, what you do on the pitch is you never just score goals, because many people are scoring goals, and guess what they're doing on the pitch? They're just scoring goals. I used to be the one scoring goals and teaching people how you score goals. You understand? Because that way you teach people another aspect of your life. You understand? So you're never just teaching anything one time, you're teaching it over and over again in a different way. You understand? You teach it in a different way all the time, you're doing something different, you're making sure you're changing your approach all the time, you're doing something much more magnificent than you, and then you realize that listening to music every single day is a nice beautiful gesture where you can also write at the same time, and you're multiplying your success through conversation. You're having more conversation with yourself every single day, and you're doing some more courses every single day, and that way each and every time it compounds, and it compounds, and it compounds, and it compounds, and each and every time you teach people more and more about how to grow, I promise you your name will be recognized. So be that type of person who understands to live life is to really go and be more successful in front of people. Rich or better. You have to understand, you go and unlock yourself by saying I'm rich or better, because that means you're going to forgive. Understand? You forgive in a way that you understand you never resent anybody, and when you're never resenting, you're just growing. Understand? Because you've learned the skills to grow. I promise you that those people who dog you and never need to be around you, I promise you, they have eliminated themselves from their. Realize that they have eliminated themselves from your life, and you never need them around you. Understand? So it's a God's blessing that they are never in your life because they never love you in the first place. So be a person who understands that when people never love you and go their own separate ways, you understand that you go your separate way, and you understand that you go and make sure you're growing, and you be a thumbs up all your life. You understand? You have to understand that those people who show the thumbs up every single day are the ones who are good. You understand? So be that type of person. And you should understand, you go be someone who is always speaking better. I never need you to speak like other people speak. I never need you to start videos like other people start videos. I never need you to make your music like other people are making the music. I need you to go and understand that you go give money to make music. You go give money to brand yourself. You go give money for everything. I mean, where your money goes is where you go. So realize that you go in the better places in life. Realize that most people are never on your side. You have to understand the ones that are growing you and sharing positive material on the planet are the ones that are going to teach you something. You have to understand that I will teach you some ideas. I'll give you some ideas because I've taught myself some ideas. Although you have to understand, you have to apply them. And you'll realize that the only ultimate teacher is you. You have to realize that I gained so much knowledge and material in terms of the wisdom. You have to realize that many people get material in the aspect of objects. I need you to understand that material is also information, and information is wisdom. I need you to understand that material is wisdom. You have to understand that you're connecting the dots together, and you're becoming a better person in the process, and you're making sure you're staying consistent. I realize that Jim Rohn at 31 became a millionaire. I realize I'm already a millionaire because I'm a better person yesterday. I realize that I never have to wait to be a millionaire. I never have to wait to be a billionaire. I never have to wait to become a trillionaire. I just have to be better than yesterday. And then you just maintain it over time. I realize that once you're better than yesterday, I promise you that's the peak state of your life. And then you become better and better and better. And as Jim Rohn said, I realize that he said, it's never how much you work at a 9-to-5 job. I realize it's how much you work on yourself more than that. You have to understand you have to work more than that. You have to realize that it never gets easier over time, you just get stronger. You understand? You get stronger, and that way you understand that to get stronger, you'll be a person who has more skills. And to get skills is to also learn how to do everything. You have to learn it yourself. You have to understand you do it yourself. I realize that when people are saying you must have a coordinator, you must have a manager, you must have this person, you must have this person, you must have, just go and eliminate all that and just go and do it yourself. Understand? Because that's the best way. I need you to learn from it. I need you to understand that when they're saying you need a marketer to market for you and you have to give them a certain amount of money, I realize that you never do that, please. I never need you to give money. I never need you to have other people working for you. You have to understand, you have to be working for something greater. You understand? I need you to realize that it's never about you giving paychecks to people either. And to understand that Forbes 500 or something like that, and people who have all these companies where they're giving paychecks to people so they can go and be in office all day. I realize that they're doing a big disservice, you understand? So realize it's never about that. Realize it's never about having so many employees in your life. You have to understand that you are your only employee, you are your only investor, you are your only self-employed guru, you are your only person who is in your life, your business aspect of life, you understand? So in the business quadrant book, such as Robert Kiyosaki says, you understand that you have the E, which is the employee, you have the self-employed, you have the business and investor side. You understand? So be in the business and investor side, and inside the employee side, and inside the self-employed, because you have to be all four in terms of what you're working for only. And you're never working for other people. You understand? You're never working for anybody. I'm my own employee. I'm my own self-employed person. I'm my own business guru. I'm my own investor. And you understand? So I'm never working for other people. I'm working for something greater than them. You understand? I'm working for something greater, and that's why I never get stuck on money. You understand? Because money will never solve anything for me. I realize that I solve it. I solve everything. You understand? When people say that money solves problems, I promise you those people don't know anything. I don't know anything either. And you should understand that money solves nothing in life. And you should understand, I don't know anything though. You understand that money can never solve you to grow. You have to understand, what money can do is get you the books. And then you have to read it though. You have to read it. You have to work your money. Money never works you. You understand? So realize, how can money solve problems when money can never work you? You understand? You work the money. You solve the problems. You understand? So money never solves problems. You have to realize that you have to work everything in life. You have to work yourself to failure so you can learn. You have to learn more than you fail. You understand? So learn more and never fail. You understand? You'll never fail when you're learning. I realize that each and every day I step up in front of a video and I do 3 hours a day, I realize that I'm better than yesterday. I'm always doing something greater. I'm richer, better. I realize I let go of the resentment now. I realize that way I grow, and I'm blocking myself. You understand? I'm always the person. I look at the person, I ask the question, what can they teach me? I realize that if they have value, I'll go ask them something. I promise you, if they've got no value, I'll never go to them because they've got nothing to give me. You understand? So be around people who've got something to give you. You understand? And that way you'll go and give yourself more attention in terms of life, and you understand that when they have ideas to give you that is going to help you, you go to them. You understand? And you learn from them. You have to understand that most people have got nothing to give you, and the ones who have something to give you are the ones you become a student with. You understand? You become their student and you learn from them because they've got information to give you, and information is a commodity, and information is all the richness in the world that you ever need. So the more information you have, the better business you have in life. And so without Airbnb in terms of life, you understand that those people who created Airbnb always had to realize that they had some information that they realized they can do, and then guess what? They took upon it and upon themselves to go and do some Airbnb and accommodation in terms of for people so they make some money. Whereas it's not about the money, although they are doing it in terms of accommodation and so that they can live a greater life. You have to understand, you go and do something where you can live a greater life every single day. You have to understand, it's never about anybody else, realize it's about you and how are you going today and how can you realize to give a service. And you have to understand that it's never about possessions and it's never about the money. You have to understand it's about freedom. You have to understand it's about growing people. Realize it's about leadership. I promise you that money can never lead you. You understand? I promise you, money can never lead you. I promise you, I can though. I'm more valuable than money, although you understand that when I'm freedom and I'm giving you information, I promise you, you'll get some quality. So you be a person of quality, you be a person who can give some quality. I'm rich or better. I'm always understanding that I grow with my emotions. Especially today, I'm growing with my emotions because I deserve to live a better life. I'm always walking faster than I do. I'm always doing something faster than I do. I'm always making sure that I'll do something better than who I am today. That way I understand that I never have to be slow. I have to be someone who is a turtle, although you understand that you have to be a person who's growing, and the person who's slow and steady and wins the race are the ones who are growing the most. You have to understand, you have to grow the most, and you have to understand the ones who are puffing out so much are the ones who are never growing. Understand? They're doing too much fast aspects of life and they're never growing in the process. You have to understand, you go and grow, and that way you understand to stay away from the pubs and bars and casinos and most people in Planet because they'll never teach anything. You have to understand, from 6 p.m. onwards until 10 a.m. in the morning, I'm away from people. I get away from them because I've got nothing else to be with them for. In a sense, so I go around the popular people. I go around the people who are going to make you popular. I go around the people who are going to give me some attention. You have to understand that I make sure that I give myself everything, although they're going to give me some ideas on how I can become more popular and how I can have more attention, how I can give myself more love, and how I can do much better selling and much better processes, and how I can think better and how I can do everything better because I teach myself everything I ever have to understand. I see what I can learn. I see it. I never know anything. I just see what people are doing. I can see people. I see it. And that way I never have to think about it. And when I see it, I understand I believe something much greater. Understand? I believe what I see. Understand? So what you understand is life itself, and you have to understand, you understand much greater than you do, and then I realize that, and then that way you understand what you do today is going to help you to measure yourself in a better way. So make sure you're that kind of person who understands that you have to measure yourself in a better way in order to level up, and that way you're going to level up in a better way each and every time, and you understand that everybody has to do the street performance. I promise you, everybody has to do some public speaking in their life. Otherwise, you're never a person who's going to do anything. And you should be a person who's doing some public speaking every single day. And you should understand you need to communicate every single day. You need to do something every single day that's going to help you to grow. I realize that it's about growth. I need you to understand it's about freedom. I need you to understand it's about being a better person and doing something according to your interest every single day. And do it for free. I realize I sit on the street over here, which is under a tunnel in Brisbane. I realize I sit here for 3 hours every single day. And guess what? I'm promoting myself for 3 hours every single day for free while I'm teaching you to grow. In a sense, so it's the best investment in the world. In a sense, so realize I've got nothing better to do other than to grow. In a sense, because growth is the foundation of my life. And when you're having too much fun, you lose yourself in fun. In a sense, so realize that as I was growing up in my teenage years, I started to have a lot of fun. I was having too much fun. I was so wild that I became a schizophrenic. I now am not a schizophrenic, although you understand that I became before a schizophrenic, and because of all the fun I was having. Understand? And because of that, I then put on so much weight. Understand? Because of all this that was going on, I became sober from the age of 19 to about 21, and then relapsed, and because of the medication, I realized from 22, I started reading, and then from 22 to 25, I was very overweight. I was obese because I relapsed in my communication and also in my medication, which is I just stayed away from medication, and they took it upon themselves to put some more paliperidone in me, and guess what? That boosted my fatness in life. You understand? So be a person who understands that you never get yourself on medication, and that's never the solution in the first place. You have to understand that those psychiatrists who go to university for 12 years to understand that they have to put a certain amount of minutes, I realize they have to put a certain amount of medication in you so that you can be a better person. I realize that those people are stupid. You understand? I mean, they waste their life in the university of colleges. I mean, they grab $500,000 off you, and then you have to go work for it. You understand? You have to go work for the debt that you accumulated. In a sense, so never be a person who is a psychiatrist or a psychologist in one of those 9-to-5 jobs, because they don't know anything. I don't know anything either. I'm not an expert. You have to understand that an expert knows it all, and those people who are experts are 99% of the crowd who will never learn and grow. You have to understand, I'm not an expert. I specialize in growth, and I'm always doing better in growth, and that's it. You understand? You have to understand that I know nothing. I know nothing. I'm just a student of life. I'm just a student. I'm just making sure I'm shooting up in my dreams. I'm making sure I'm doing up in life. I'm doing something up. I'm not shooting drugs. I'm not shooting up drugs, you understand? So be a person who understands that those people who shoot up drugs are junkies, and they're doing heroin, and they're doing all of that, and stay away from it, please. So realize that when you're shooting up in terms of something up there, you will go and grow. You'll do something much better. Although you understand that you go and do something much better for yourself, and that way you'll do something far foundational. You have to understand that I always dreamt of myself being in a suit or something like that. I never have to be in a suit in my life again, because it's about my communication skills. And I realize that I see many men and all of that in terms of life, and they have suits. I realize that I'm more confident in them. So that's the whole point of life. You have to be more confident in those people who have better looking skin or whatever. You have to understand that you go and do better anyway. And I was always a person who had a lot of suffering, and I was very jealous of people because I was never growing. I was always in my comfort zone. You understand? Because I was following the crowd. I was following the crowd and what they thought. And when they laughed, I realized they laughed like hyenas. I realized they're very ugly people. I realized that when people are leading other people, and you have to understand, you have to be one of those people who is leading other people in a way that you're growing them. I realized that some people are going to stand there and they're going to send the hyenas on you. And I realized that when they do that, I realized they're sending a pack of dogs on you. And I realized that it's 10v1. I realized that when they have 10 cousins around them, I'm probably sure they kick you down the nose because they're related and you're nothing. You understand? So never be around them in the first place. I never need you around 10 family members who are never your family. You understand? Because they're going to kick you down. Probably they're going to kick you down, and they're going to say that we are brothers and sisters. How about you? I realize that. You never say, I realize that you just say that I just go my way and that's it. You go my way, which is the better way. You have to understand the better way is that you go your way, which is the better way. You have to understand you go that way. In a sense, you never be around people who are going to team up on you. You understand? And that way you understand politics, because politics has everything to do with 100 people on one. You understand? I promise you, that's teaming up. I promise you, when it's violence, I promise you what happens is, when you become violent, I promise you, you may win the fight. I promise you, although the next person is going to come hit you. I promise you may win that person over too. I promise you, the next person is going to come. I promise you, it's going to be 1,000 people on one when you're violent. Understand? So in violence, there is no fairness. Understand? I realize that the more violent you get, I promise you, the more violent other people get with you. So realize that in violence, there is no one fits all. You understand? So realize that in number one, you have to understand you never relate with violence. You have to understand that you have to understand that number one people are the ones who are never causing violence in the first place. You have to understand it's really about be a better person and never cause violence, because it's always an unfair game when it's violence. You understand? I promise you that you never go that way. I was violent before, and I realized that I never had to be. I realized that I just had to walk away, and I realized that as I grew up and I left high school, I started to play poker, and I realized I fell in a crowd of gamblers, and that's all I ever seen, because at my teenage years, I realized that I was always around gamblers, and my biological dad is a gambler. You understand? So you have to understand that because he's a gambler, I realized that he's less of a gambler today, although you understand that he's gambling his health away with cigarettes. You understand? So that's also a gamble. I realized that what's a gamble today is a shamble, and those people are always sympathetic and always causing sorrow in the world, and always showing you tears of sympathy. I mean, they feel sorry for you. I mean, they think they're normal. In a sense, so never be that kind of person. I need to understand you be that person who is much better than yesterday. You're doing something much greater, and that way you're never going to gamble your money. You're never going to gamble your health, because to gamble your health is more than to gamble your money. In a sense, so take care of your health the most, and stop eating Hungry Jacks. You need to stop eating McDonald's and all this stuff, because that's never going to make you skinny. And you have to understand that skinny people live longer than fat people. In a sense, so be a skinny person over fat, and be a healthier person than skinny. In a sense, so realize you need some muscles once you turn skinny. In a sense, and then you have to realize you never stay lanky all your life, or you have to understand you put some muscle, and the best way is to have some plant food in your life. You have to understand you do some plant food, and you understand that plant food means legumes, and it means rice, and it means also tofu and soy products and beans and peanuts and nuts and wheat and also wholemeal bread. You have to understand that is all protein. You have to understand that pasta is all plants. You understand you go eat some more pasta, you go eat some more pasta and some spaghetti. Whereas that is all protein that's healthier than animal food. And you understand that you can always eat something that's plant and vegan. You understand that when you're a vegan person, you understand that you're going to sell yourself better, you're going to have more energy, you're going to do something far greater than everybody else, because you're that 1% of the world that's vegan. You understand? You're the 1%. I mean, there's only 1% of the planet that's vegan today, and you have to be the 1%. You understand? Because Jesus is a vegan also. You understand that Jesus never ate meat. You have to understand that you got to be a person who's far greater than everyone. You have to be far greater. You have to be far greater than everyone, and you have to be far greater than ever. You understand? In order to succeed, you have to do something amazing. You have to realize it's about emotional control, and what that is self-control. And when you're self-control, you're also delaying gratification. You understand that realize that gratifying people and gratification means to go pleasure and where the entertainment is, and to just have fun. Realize it's not about having fun in life. Realize it's about growing. Realize it's about having more than fun. And saying you have to grow. You have to understand that fun will never get you around the world. And saying probably those people having fun are living for the weekends. Realize it's never about fun anymore. Realize it's about growing and making sure that you can have fun every single day. And saying you're having fun because you're having a better lifestyle than everybody else. Probably that's more fun. Probably what's fun is being in front of a crowd and leading tens of thousands of people. Probably that's fun. Probably that's really fun. Probably when you're a part of the crowd and they're having fun, I realize that's no fun at all. You understand? Probably that's the worst aspect of life. Probably that's the other way around. I need to understand that the economy today is against you. I need to understand that the money system today is against you. So what's never against you? You must never be against you. You must never be against yourself. You must realize that growth is all you have. And what are your skills and what are you bringing to the table? You have to bring some ideas today, and you have to realize those ideas, you have to give it more and more and more and more. You realize what the foundational meaning of life is when you're giving more. You understand what you're receiving in return when you're giving more hours of your life so that you can help coach other people and yourself in the process. You understand? Because what's fun today is never living for the weekends and pubs and music and who's going to nightclub and who's going to go nightclub today and who's going to go to the pub today, because that's never the question that you have to ask. The question that you ask is making sure that you're staying away from the nightclubs and staying away from the pubs and who's going to be the DJ artist in this week's podcast of the nightclub, because who cares about the nightclub podcast? You understand? You need to understand it's really about go and do something better. You understand? You're going to do something better that's going to grow you. You have to grow, and you have to understand that music is nice, although you never have to go to a nightclub to listen to music. I listen to trance music still. I never have to go to a nightclub. I never have to surround myself with darkness and in a nightclub where it's all dark. I realize I have to grow, I have to learn, I have to be in my accommodation at 6 p.m. every single day. You understand? I have to be in my accommodation before 6 p.m. because everybody outside me is going to kill me. You understand? So guess what? I never go where the outside world is. I go somewhere better after 6 p.m. I go inside. You understand? I'm always inside anyway. You have to understand. I never believe in the outside world. I believe in something greater. I believe inside. I believe inside. I believe in myself. I believe inside. I only believe in myself in life. I only ever believe in myself. I never believe in other people. I believe to grow other people only. In a sense, so realize when I grow other people, I'm always believing in myself more. You understand? You have to understand that people are going to have fun with you, and that's it. I need you to be around the people that are going to grow you only. That is the only growth and only fun in the world, because fun is going to destroy you. I need you to understand that entertainment is going to destroy you. I need you to understand I grew up watching wrestling and WWE wrestling and WCW and WCW Nitro and all of that. I started watching wrestling. I realized that it never taught me much. I realized it taught me 1% of the I realized it taught me nothing. You understand? So I realized you just be a person who understands that it taught me some enthusiasm and also some passion in terms of the game. And the game is to just be passionate about what you're doing. Although you have to understand that entertainment mostly will never teach you anything. What teaches you is ideas. You have to understand that ideas is going to teach you. I promise you when it's entertainment and entertainment's involved, I promise you that's nothing special. I promise you what's more special is the growth techniques that you're going to use today to communicate better and to run faster and to look better and to make sure you can increase your skills. I realized when I started fashion show and I started to brand myself and model myself, I realized at first, I started realizing I have nice, beautiful backgrounds over here. I can start in Melbourne. I started in Melbourne, and then I went to Adelaide, and I started to brand myself in Adelaide. And then I went to Brisbane. I started to brand myself in Brisbane. I then went to Sunshine Coast. I started to brand myself in Sunshine Coast. I realized I started having all this magnitude of growth within me. I realized then I started to realize it's about branding myself. So what did I do? I realized I started one step at a time, and throughout time, it's always one step, and one step is one day at a time. I realize that 1 day at a time is 1 hour at a time, and 1 hour at a time is 1 minute at a time, and 1 minute is 1 second at a time. And in terms of these speeches that I give, I realize it's one word at a time. I realize it's always make sure you do one step at a time. I mean, what's the next step is to finish this video, make sure no matter what, I'm always never finishing anything, or that I'm still growing from it. And make sure that you're never a person who's losing. I realize that each and every step of the way, I've learned something around Australia, and that's the whole point. You have to realize it's really about growth. You're growing yourself in a way that you've never done before. You're never worried about the crowd and what they think about you. You have to understand, I can be a big brother. I realize I'd be the best big brother. Instead, because I'd be growing people. I'd be growing people there all the time. I'd be so interesting that I'd be the winner of Big Brother. Because I'm just growing people. I'm giving people self-education in Big Brother. In a sense, so I'd always win. I'd always win because I'm always a person who wins. I'm always a person who wins. I win myself over every single day. I promise you, your only soulmate in life is you. I promise you, your only spiritual technique in life is growth. I promise you, your only love in life is you. So be that person who understands your love and be a fountain of love every single day. I mean, you have to understand that each and every single time you're going to love yourself much greater than yesterday. You're going to be a person who's far more worth it. You're going to be a person who has far more techniques and far more strategies and business skills to teach people. And that's all the fun in the world. I promise you, that's all the fun in the world. You have to understand, you're going to better your words every single day. I promise you, it's worth it to come on the street every single day and do it for 3 hours, please. I promise you, you need to level me up. You understand? I've been doing it for 8 days now. I realize that 8 times 3 means 24 hours. I've been doing communication work in front of a camera. I realize that's practice. You have to practice and practice and practice. And you guys have been watching me. So realize no matter what, you just do something better all the time. You're always doing something much more. And that way you understand that you can only ever find me in one place. And that way you understand I'm always growing. Understand? I'm always making sure that I'm never entertaining, although I'm always making sure I'm growing. Understand? I'm making sure I'm growing because that's the most important. The most important aspect is how to sell, and what do you sell in life? You sell your growth, you sell your experience, you sell who you are, you sell something much more than you sell something that's much more attractive, you sell something that's much more beautiful, you sell something in terms of other people for free. You go and speak to them and you learn from them and you have a nice beautiful conversation and say something that you can improve upon. And so it's about collaboration, although those people that need you to collaborate with money, I realize you stay away from them because they are not power players. I need to understand that a power player is remove the money and let's see your skills. I need to understand that if you're a person who's lacking more skills than me, you understand that there's no money involved here, although you have to understand you have to better yourself then. I need to understand my skills over here and what I can do. You have to understand that what I can do is my disciplines and my schedule and my habits and how am I really better my life and how am I really able to give you more of my essence over here, which is wisdom. You have to understand that wisdom is everything, and when I give you wisdom, you're going to grow. You understand? I promise you, that's fun. I promise you, what's fun is making sure you're growing in a way that's going to help you all the time. You understand? I ignore the crowd. I make sure I focus on my emotions, because my emotions is more. You understand? I realize my emotions grows me. I realize that when I push my emotions to talk, I realize I talk all the time. You understand? Because I can talk. I always make sure I talk in a better way. Make sure that I do something in a better way, because that's how to sell. You understand? I realize that when you're selling something, you're never selling it for money. You're never selling anything for money, because to sell something for money is a trap. You never sell for money. You never get stuck on numbers. I should understand, when you have $5, you feel cheap. Understand? Although when you have all the skills in the world, probably you never care about the money. Probably it's never about the money. And you should understand there's always going to be somebody who has more money than you. You have to understand that Grant Cardone accumulates all this real estate that he has, around 8,000 real estate units. You have to understand the guy's $1 billion. You have to understand that other people have so much more money than him. And he looks like a little ant compared. I realize that he looks like a little ant compared to them in money-wise. So I realize that he needs all this money in the world. I don't know what you're going to do with all that money. You have to realize it's never about the money. You have to realize it's about the wisdom that you're giving, and you give that for free all the time. You have to understand that's the personal growth. I realize it's about personal growth over money. So be a person who's never chasing more money, because most people are going to a 9-to-5 job and they're working for money, and the people who are really slaves to it. I realize they have to work over time for an extra $3. I realize you look cheap. You never work for $3 extra per hour. You don't get taxed on your money, because when you're going and working a 9-to-5 job, you're getting taxed. You don't get taxed in the first place. You have tax breaks, and the way you do that is through growth. You learn to grow each and every day. You minus your expenditures and make sure that your expenditures are becoming your assets. So make sure you're never spending money, you're just investing money. You're investing in better places. And where are you investing? In better disciplines. Learn some better disciplines in your life. You'll always have much more to sell in a free way, and you'll always be a better person in the process when you're much more tougher on yourself, because tougher people on themselves are the ones who are more successful. You understand? So be that kind of person who's more successful today, and that way you understand more discipline. You have to understand that each and every time I come on the street and do a 3-hour performance with video, I'm always better than yesterday. I'm always doing something really quick. I'm always really quick to understand that most people will laugh at you, and guess what? Let them laugh at you. And then you understand that you'll be more successful anyway, and then guess what? They'll never be laughing once you're more successful. You understand? So you understand that you have to be more successful than yourself, and it's never a competition with them and who's going to grab more attention. Whereas I never care about that. I realize that if I have 200 followers over the next 73 years, I don't fucking care anymore. Because guess what? I care about something much better. You understand? I care about never swearing my words, and it's never about swearing my words anymore. You have to understand, it's really never about saying fucking and fuck all the time. You understand? Whereas it's really about being a nicer person in the process, and make sure you're owning up to your swearing. You understand? I need you to understand it's really about a nicer way, and it's never about a rude way. You have to understand it's really about being a person of integrity. You have to understand that is all the money in the world. You understand? So be that kind of person. And you understand that Mother Teresa was a person who never worked for money. I realize that she may be alive today. I realize that I don't know. I have to understand that I'm just a person who has to learn something. I have to understand that she's a person who works for free. I realize that she'll never grab anything from you. I promise you, she'll just give you something. You understand? I promise you, she'll give you a present. I promise you, the present is a 1-hour video of how you educate them. You understand? So I realize that every single day I give 3-hour presents in terms of videos. So be that kind of person. You have to be that type of person who's giving gift all the time. You're giving a gift of yourself. You're giving more in a planet where you understand that life is to be made easily, and money is made easily through growing. You have to understand that Tony Robbins says that money is made easily, and the best way to make money is to make it yourself in terms of growth. You understand? You grow in a way. You understand? You never get money. You never get money. I promise you, you just receive money. You just receive it while you just give more. You understand? You're giving information. And the more information you give, the better you get. In a sense, so when you look at Les Brown, Les Brown can speak. That guy can speak, public speaking, like the best of the best. In a sense, so guess what? In order for you to do that, you have to understand you have to be the best of the best, and you have to believe in your heart. And then you have to realize you have to get some information together, and you have to be your own researcher. And then you have to realize that you have to intensify on the stage. You have to intensify and make sure you're always growing and making sure you're always changing and adapting your communication skills. And then that way, you understand that you have to live your talk in the process. And that's the point of a motivational speaker. The motivational speaker will live their talk. And that way you understand that whatever's happening in the world must be better. You understand? You must be better, although you never fix the outside world, and you never work for the outside world. You work for something greater. You work for something inside. Because this world is never to be worked on. I need you to understand. What the world is inside, so you work inside only. You work on the inside world because that's what you work on. That's something incredible, and that's spirituality. So be a person who understands that the inner world is much more important than the outside world, and you'll learn how to sell. You'll learn how to sell yourself and anything in life. You never sell people for money, and you never sell anything for money. You have to understand that a lot of drug trafficking and all of this in terms of prostitution and all of this that's going on around pornography, you understand that no matter what, that it's all about money. You understand? I realize they're doing it for money. You understand? So it's never about that, because what is about money is never the way to go. You have to understand, the way to go is freedom, and the way to go is personal development and spirituality and looking inside. You understand? You stay away from the money. Probably there's two aspects of life. You're either in the money life, or you're either in the personal growth life. Probably I need you in the personal growth life. You understand? I never need you in the money aspect. I need you to remove the money from your life. You understand? I need you to realize it's about skills now. You should understand it's about skills and mentality, and how are you going to boost your quality of life today. You have to understand you have to boost your skills today. I need you to remove the money. I never care about how much money I have. I need you to understand I have all the wisdom in the world to make all the money. You understand? So guess what? It's the wisdom. You understand? I promise you, it's the wisdom that's going to help you. I need you to understand that most people would say, this person works 24 hours in a day, and I have to work 5 minutes to make $100,000. Otherwise, that guy's making a person a slave. Whereas that's not the point of life. I need you to understand that it's never about that. I need you to understand that it's about growing each other. I need you to understand it's about growing and never making other people work for you. Understand? I need you to realize that I make you work for something greater than me. I need you to understand what that is developing you into a person that you must be. And the person you must be is better than who you are today. Otherwise, that's the best job in the world. Otherwise, the best job in the world is growing you. And that's it. You're going to be a grower. You're going to be a doer. You're going to be doing something much greater than yourself. You're going to do something that's really foundational in growth. You understand? And that way you're going to understand that growth is to be watered upon. You have to water your tree all the time. You understand that a tree grows. You have to be a tree. You understand? You have to be a tree that's growing. And you understand that a tree is never still. I promise you, a tree is always growing. You understand? I promise you that once a tree grows to a certain extent, I promise you, although you'll see a beautiful tree. You understand? So make sure that you're beautiful. You have to understand that you be that tree who's growing all the time, although you're going to be moving this time. You understand? You're going to be something more foundational. You understand? I promise you that animals, in terms of non-human animals, have a natural instinct to just grow. I promise you the snake has to do all this kind of stuff to shed the skin and to make sure they're hunting, and they have to learn how to hunt. I realize that a baby snake doesn't just naturally learn how to... I realize that baby snake naturally learns everything, although at first the snake's mama or dad has to go and bring some food in order for the snakes to feed themselves, in a sense. So realize that first you're going to be dependent throughout life, and then realize the next step is independence. And then once you get into independence, you realize that now you're a better person in the process, and you're more responsible, and you're also much more in terms of accountability. And then you understand you're much more of a leader when you're a person who's independent than dependent on anyone. And when you're a person who's independent, you have to start growing your skills now to be interdependent. And to do that, you have to be in front of a crowd. Understand? So you go from your mum and dad to on your own, growing, to learn how to lead other people. I promise you, that's the journey from dependence to interdependence. I promise you, you're just learning to go from where you are to a better way into where the grass is greener, where you can lead others to grow, and that's it. Understand? So be that kind of person who understands that when Jim Rohn says you have to have the best style on the planet, you have to have the best fashion, you have to take the most photos of yourself that you ever can, you have to be all you can be, you have to realize you need to do all the videos of yourself that you ever can, you have to grow yourself and make all the quotes that you can about yourself. I mean, let them laugh on you for the first 2 years and first 3 years and first 4 years. I promise you, the more you coach, I promise you, the more you become somebody. You understand? So it's going to take you at least, I mean, it's going to help you to understand that it's really invest your time for the next 6 years, because I invested my time for 6 years to even get to this point. In a sense, so it's been a work in progress, although guess what? It's worth it every step of the way, because I'm still a better person than yesterday. Understand? I had to lift myself out of schizophrenia. I had to lift myself to lose 47 kilos. I had to lift myself to become a vegan in life. I had to lift myself to go and travel around Australia for 1 year. I had to lift myself to get away from my biological dad. I had to lift myself to get away from the crowd. I had to lift myself to start doing fashion modeling after 47 kilo weight loss. I mean, go and look at my photos. You understand, I was very fat before, and then now I have over 4,500 photos of myself inside Instagram. You understand, that's inspiring. You understand, so be that kind of person who can understand you have to brand yourself now. And one of the people who was a catalyst to me branding myself is Gary Vaynerchuk. You have to understand, that person is always typically talking about branding, and you must brand yourself. You must brand yourself. You must brand yourself, he says. You must brand yourself. So be that kind of person who's always branding themselves. I realized that when you have one social media, you just go to that social media and you go where the audience is. You understand? You have to go to the attention, as Grant Cardone says. You have to go where the attention is because that's good. I promise you, that's full of opportunities. I promise you, you have to be in the spotlight more and more, and you deserve it. I promise you, you have to step into it. So here in Brisbane, you have a nice, beautiful Queen Street Mall, and there's 4 pillars. And on one pillar, there's Hungry Jack's corner, and then there's shops around. And in the centre, I promise you, people just walk in the centre, all this, although it's a nice, beautiful stadium. You understand? I promise you, the crowd's outside, and I'll be in the middle. You understand? I'll be in the middle of that centre because in about a few days, I have to get my permit, and then I'll pass, and guess what? I don't care. I always do it for free anyway. You understand? So realise that permit and to understand that you can do a street performance for free anywhere in your country, and you can understand that you're going to do it for free in the suburban areas, and just go and practice on the street. In a sense, so be that kind of person who's always doing something greater, and you understand that you're going to earn the spotlight in the middle of the 4 pillars. Understand? And that way you're going to stand there and sit there, and you're going to realise you're just going to talk while they watch you, and you're going to promote yourself every single day. Understand? Because you can do it. You can do much better than yesterday. You can do something much greater. You can do something that's worth it. You understand that 3 hours today really went quickly. You have to understand that I just go quickly. I go quickly. I'm always doing something that's really going to help me move forward. I'm always doing something that's really going to help me to inspire. And that's how you sell. Understand? Or is that you just have to be a better person for it. You have to do something much greater. You have to do something that's really going to get you much greater. Understand? So do that all your life. I realize you have to be honest about yourself. You have to take honest. You have to take ownership, and you have to be honest. You never take anything. You just be a person who's never stealing. You never steal a charger from the 7-Eleven. You never steal anything. You look like a junkie. You look like a drug addict. You understand? So never do that. I approach it. That's illegal. And what's illegal is you stay away from illegal. You understand? So make sure you understand that teaching, that you teach in every single way you can. I mean, link the words. And in order for me to teach all this way is because I am a person who wrote so many quotes, and each and every idea that I get, I write into a quote. And I write about 40 quotes a day to around 100 quotes a day. In a sense, so I never limit myself. I can write more than 100 quotes when I dedicate myself to quotes, although I write a quote here and there. And I realise it averages. Understand? And it's always different. I'm never limiting myself to the numbers, remember? I realise that when you remember, you understand I'm never limiting myself to any number in life. I'm always doing something extra. I realise that I finished my 3 hours, although you understand that it's my day 8 now, and I'm going above the 24 hours now. You understand? So realise that you just got to be a better person. You do something amazing. You're doing something much better than yesterday. You're getting the attention that you deserve. You're doing much better, and you realise that the time now is 5:30, and I have to be around in a better way all the time. I always make sure that every time I do something, I'm always promoting myself in a better way. I'm always doing something that's really going to get me in a better way, and that's the whole point of life. I promise you, the whole point of life is do something foundational and do it in front of a crowd. That way you're going to learn something. You're going to learn something that's interesting. You're going to learn something that's worth it. I promise you that somebody may give you an opportunity. You understand? I promise you they may love you, and that's it. I promise you that's all you need. I promise you go and do it for free. I mean, you do it on the street and you relax. You relax in a way that you understand that it's about forgiveness. And when you're forgiving, you're allowing, and that's how you sell. Understand? You sell yourself in a better way. You sell yourself as a person who's a failure who's growing from it. You understand? You grow from failure. You grow from anything in life. You grow from bad people. You grow and you learn. You have to understand that in order for me to get away from the cockroaches from Canning Vale, and where I lived in Canning Vale in Sydney, I had a 1-bedroom apartment and it was full of cockroaches. I slept there for 7 days. You understand? In order for me to get out of there, I had to leave. I never accepted it. I have to grow from that. I realised that there was violent people around me. I realised that was a test. I realised that the test is to grow from it and to move myself. I realised I had to move myself from that. I realised I just got there. I realised I just got there. I realised I had 1 bedroom. I really was very happy, and I'm still happy now. I realised I'm very happy. I'm much happier now than ever. I'm too much happy, and that's the whole point. And so I'm always happier. I'm never happy. I'm happier. I'm always happier. So guess what? You say I'm always happier, and that's the whole point. I realize that when you're saying you're not happy, you'll never be happy. So be a happier person, and that way you'll be something better than happy. And realize that when you're a person who's growing, you always have your eye intent. And that way I had to grow from that moment. I had to realize that in order for me to go from Melbourne to Adelaide, I had to grow from Melbourne first. And that way you understand that when people go from Sydney to Melbourne, they go for the weekend. I realize they go for the weekend, and guess what happens? I realize that after the weekend, which is 2 days, they have to go back to a 9-to-5 job. I realized I left Sydney, I went to Melbourne. I then said, I'll stay in Melbourne. I stayed there for 1 month. I then went to Adelaide. I stayed there. I said, I don't care about Sydney. I'll go to Brisbane. I took myself to Brisbane. I realized that I never knew I was going to travel about 1 year, although I did. And it's the best experience of my life because I've been growing all along the way. Understand? So that's the whole point of life. You grow and grow and grow and do something that's foundational and something that's going to help you. And that way you understand that when you are finished the 3 hours, you can understand you can keep going, or you can realize you can do something amazing. And you have to understand you're just going to be a better person for it. Understand? You're doing something far greater than everybody else, and that's the point of life. You're doing something that's going to grow you. You're doing something that's going to build your emotions to grow. You're building your emotions to grow in a way that you understand you give some skills and you'll gain some skills. You understand? So you're doing something each and every day to make sure that you're going to do 3 hours of content, and guess what? You accomplish your goal, so guess what? You can go. You understand? So make sure you're always sticking to your goals and complete them every single day. Understand? Because when you're doing too much, you have to understand that you're going to do too much. Understand? I promise you do too much in life, I promise you never go wrong. I promise you never go right either. You have to understand it's not about wrong or right. I promise you it's about selling yourself in a way that you understand you're growing, and that's how to sell. You understand? You sell everything in life for free, and you never do it for money. Well, anyway, guys, I have a nice beautiful course here, which is now finished. Although you understand, I have to still continue. I have to still understand that no matter what, I'm a person who's always growing, and I don't know anything I've taught anymore. Because guess what? What I've taught is already my wisdom, and that's it. I realize no matter what, you guys can stay tuned. You guys can follow my Instagram and always share my videos for something better. And that way, you'll be better. I'll see you guys in the next video.